Devotee Sitaram, Jai Shri Krishna. It's now 8:01 p.m. in London, and I'm quite sure it's a similar time wherever we are in the world. It's Friday evening, and it's the second to last day of this month of May, actually. We have just finished, I think, 1/3 of the year, so time is moving on. I would like to welcome again Uncle Harold. I would like to welcome um, Kiran and family. I would like to welcome my Bhaiya Harish and Ben Lakshmi ji. I would like to welcome my sister Kamini. I would like to welcome wonderful Leslie ji. Namaste. I would like to welcome Kiran. I would like to welcome Bhaiya Dev, and I would like to welcome Uma. And I would like to welcome all of those who are going to be joining later. So just to set the scene, what we are going to do today, we are going to understand, that praying or living a religious life can be done by anyone, anywhere, anytime, without any rituals, without any preparations, and it would still have the same effect. But to make things happen quicker, you're only as good as your preparation. If Leslie has to do a dance performance, and you have to rehearse, you have to know your lines, you have to know the beats. If you're going to cook a nice meal, then you will have to prepare all of the spices, get the onion right, the garlic right, the temperature right. So everything that has good preparation will give a quicker result. So today we're going to continue where we left off last week with the importance of the name of the Lord. Because all of the scriptures and all of the religions say, sing the name and the glories of this Lord, of the Lord. This is a commonality of all cultures and all religion. Even outside of organized religion, they're what we call chants. So whether we were the Red Indians of America or the Africans in the Kalahari, they would sing and chant to nature and to God to get control over their environment. So wouldn't it be nice if, from a psychological point of view, we were to start what we call meditating or jap or reciting or repeating or focusing on a name of the divinity that you can identify with a deficiency or a shortage in your life, or you can give thanks to the Supreme Lord by using a word to give thanks. And this is where, the names of what we call the gods or the divine names make a big difference. Last week, we made it quite clear that every word you say is a mantra or is a prayer. So you wake up in the morning, the greatest prayer you can say is that today I will have a great day. Without knowing what you are really saying, oh Supreme Lord, or oh energies of this universe, you have within your power to make this day right for me. May my journeys be safe. May my families be safe. May I be prosperous at work. May I solve all the problems that come in my way during the day. So just by saying this mantra that you're not calling a mantra, but you wake up in this morning and the first thing you're going to do, I shall have a great day. This is what your brains want to hear. You give a command to your subconscious, and then the subconscious commands the conscious to carry out your divine wishes. And this is so beautiful. This is such a beautiful. So let us say you wake up in the morning and you look out at the sunshine and you immediately said, let this day be full of warmth, or let light come into my life as this day goes on. And automatically, you have set the tone for the day. And this is the main scientific concept of what a prayer is. Now, when prayer is done by yourself individually, it has power. But let us say if we were to go together and we go into what we call a yajna. So we go into a temple, we go into a room, we hire a hall for an hour. And the purpose of hiring the hall for an hour is to sit and recite the name of God that we choose as our prayers for day. So let us say, because all of us are from what we call an Indian background, a Hindu background, or this is our leaning. So let us say we will recite the name of, let us say, Bhagwan Shiva. Okay. And so therefore we will go and choose the best name of Bhagwan Shiva that, that all of us can identify with. Now, most of us only know, let us say, Om Namah Shivaya, without any thought, without attaching any what we call power to the Shivaya. So it becomes what we call underwhelming. But let us say the genuine meaning that we want to get out of Shiva is that Shiva is what we call permanent. Everything about Shiva results in us having what we call unlimited abilities in whatever we want to do in life. When we are in what we call religious communities, we only assume the world is made up of religious people, or everybody should be only doing what we call religious work. But the world in which we living requires thousands of professions for us to function as a community, as a city, and as a country. You need doctors, you need lawyers, you need drain cleaners, you need scientists, you need astronomers, you need astrologers, you need medical people, you need people to work in the theater, you need dentists. So there is so much a diversion and a variation of the gifts that we need to result from our prayer. So we were saying we want to start, what prayer shall I use in the traditional sense today? Critical. What prayer shall we use today as a formal prayer so that this prayer makes sense? So in order to get the prayer, let us say we have to prepare for the prayer. So the first thing you will do, of course, normally you would have your shower, you will wash yourself, have a nice clean face, and you will sit in an area of what we call little distraction. If we go by the Bhagavad Gita, to get the results of a prayer, you must sit comfortable. So you must sit literally, on a firm chair or on a firm bench, because that is the best way to support your back and to make sure your back, is firm and straight. Let us say if you were to sit in a settee on your slouch back, you may not get the benefit of your prayer. So we coming back again. So let us focus, as we will talk about prayers to all the gurus, all the deities later, but the principle hold good. So we were talking using Bhagwan Shiva as what we call a prayer today. So we are not talking about the long verses of Nagendra Haraya and all the Panch Akshara Stotram. We are not referring to those. We are referring to a prayer that you can do anywhere, in the garden, on the allotment, on the bus, or just sitting and wanting to pray. So what you need to do, you compose yourself and you decide from a scientific point of view, what is the desire of the prayer you wish to achieve in life? So if the desire, and all of us may have different desire, but let us go a desire that would give commonality to each and every one of you. So we could say Om Anantaye Namaha. So another name of Bhagwan Shiva is Ananta. Ananta means that which is without limit. So if you're going to pray to Shiva and you've prepared to pray to Bhagwan Shiva, and now you want unlimited abilities. So the prayer again must be with the focus. So you can say that the focus of this prayer is for Bhagwan Shankar and Adi Shakti to bless me with unlimited abilities. Let us say to be the greatest scientist, or to bless me with unlimited powers of speech so my speech become eloquent, or to bless me with unlimited mental faculties so in whatever I do, I'm able to solve a problem that is given to me. So we go to this name Shiva, and the way how you will do it is like this. Focus yourself. You're in your office, you're in your home, and no preparation required, but mental focus required. You take the power of Shiva, and he says the mantra will go like this: Om Shivaye Anantaye Namaha. I bow down to Bhagwan Shiva, who will energize me and bless me with all of the unlimited energies that I require. So when you are blessed with the unlimited energies with by Bhagwan Shiva, everything else is achievable. So your love for someone will be unlimited. Your desire to provide peace and comfort and sustenance for the world will be unlimited. Your abilities, because you're now linking into the totality of the blessings of Bhagwan Shiva, and you are focusing, your energy is now crossing and interacting with Bhagwan Shiva. So the heart, the energy that resides within you is now going into a loop with Bhagwan Shiva. So there is a transference of energy which you never had before, or which you had, but the blessings of Shiva is now opening into your home, opening into your life, blessing you and caring for you because you have requested a very specific blessing of Ananta. Anantaye Namaha, O Bhagwan Shiva. Let what I am requesting for you today be unlimited. And you, in your mind, you have to state what is it you would wish to be blessed with. So I wish to be blessed with the ability to solve all technical problems in the field of physics, or in the field of chemistry, or in the field of cookery, or in the field of gardening. Oh Lord, let my strength, my physical strength, be unlimited so I never have any physical or mental affliction. So it's for you to choose and get direction as to what the nature of your prayer will be. So let us now go on the screen, and I will start share the screen. One moment. And 1 second, and then we will go into today's, one moment. Right. So devotees, as I said, prayer using the name of Bhagwan or Ishwar. The purpose of this session is to remind us that all forms of success in your world requires absorbing our mind in the Lord. And this is very important, that for us to get the benefit of this session is to start focusing our mind. That even if you do it for 10 minutes a day, but focusing in your mind on the Lord. So this is where it is critical that you focus on your own Lord. So you will focus on Bhagwan Shri Krishna, because in 10 minutes, you cannot focus on Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh at the same time including Lakshmi, Narayan, Jagadambe Ma. But once you focus on the Lord, the mind responds to your focus because you're focusing, oh Lord, today I have a very fearful heart. Lord, the protector of all, remove this fear from me. And then who is the remover of fear? Bhagwan Sri Ram is the remover of fear. Bhagwan Krishna is the remover of fear. Bhagwan Narayan is the remover of fear. Lakshmi Mata is the remover of fear. So whichever form of the divinity you choose, you will offer the name with the focus to get peace of mind. And you can be guaranteed that after 10 minutes or 12 minutes of praying or meditation or chanting the name, you would be amazed at the result. So the process is, as we said last week, you need to have some things in place every time you sit down to pray. And these are the two things you need. Nothing more is needed. Many things you can have. But if you can light a deepam, right, to be what we call the transference of your mantra. So the deepam or Agni Dev will then take your prayers, the energy of your prayers to Bhagwan Shiva, and the energy from Bhagwan Shiva will then be returned back to you via Agni Dev. So it's a wonderful scientific concept. Now, then every time you pray, make sure you have a glass or a lota or a container with water and a spoon. So while you're praying, because water has living element, every word of prayer you utter will be energizing the water. So this water that will then become divinely energized. So when you start to drink it, it would be like in the form of the mantras. Om Amrito Pastarnamasi Swaha. Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Satyam Yashashri Maishri Shayatam Swaha. So Lord, as I sip this water, it is now blessed with divine energies. Make my life be fulfilling, and that I'm able to achieve what we call greatness in this world. And this is what all of us want. We want to live in this world where we achieve this greatness when we are full of good health. So we do not want to be great at the moment of death, then you will not experience that. You know, death is death. There's nothing else to say about that. But while we are alive, we want to be alive. We want to, what we call Om Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. O divine Mother, O divine Lord, on this day that we sit thinking of you, lead me from this state of lack of consciousness to this state of consciousness. You know, there are certain times in your life when you feel alive. And not every day, but there are certain days when we feel very much alive and happy and at peace with ourselves. And the challenge there is to replicate that feeling. You know, how do we replicate that feeling to ensure that the good that I'm feeling now, I can replicate that feeling tomorrow? Now, the way to do that, devotees, is to always look at the triggers, you know, the circumstances, the way how, you know, your room was made up or set, the way how you comb your hair, or the color of the shirt or the kurta that you're wearing. And for my sisters, you know, whether you've made up your face nicely, lipsticks, and, you know, it's like every situation can bring on what we call this feeling of divinity that will come from the prayer. Because the challenge going forward is to make every second of your life having a divine feeling. So as we said, absorbing and remind on the Lord means recognizing that we are part and parcel of the divine creation of the Supreme Lord. Our life force within us is identical to the Lord's life force for us. In the same way, as a drop of water is identical to all the waters of the ocean. And devotees, this is a scientific fact again, is that we have something in us called a life force. None of the doctors, none of the scientists can see it or can find it because it pervades every single cell of our body. You know, the 13 trillion or more, how many trillion cells and nerve endings that makes up our heart, our brains, our liver, our spleen, our kidneys, and all the organs of our body. Nobody can find that life force because that life force is what we call all pervading. You know, the same life force that is within your body, the same life force is outside of your body. So it's like this physical element is what we call sometimes a Maya. It is physical, is there, but it's not living in the sense that when the life force vacates the body, this physical element is there, but it's not, can't respond. It's no more than the wood on your table. So the challenge again is to use these mantras to energize ourselves, to make sure that we are conscious of this life force. To cement this relationship, we can choose statements of affirmations that empower us and reminds us that we should 100% acknowledge the Lord as the source of our protection, our health, and our wealth. And this is a beautiful concept. And our foreparents and our parents were masters of practicing. And they will do this in the nicest way. And say to, the son, God give me everything, in colloquial language. In modern day language, we say the Lord is the source of everything. But in their way of communicating, all tribal, all, what we will call simple cultures of this world knew, right, that the sun was the giver of life. That Surya Bhagwan, or the Lord who has energized the sun, is the giver of life. And so we who call ourselves elevated or advanced have lost what we call the energies, or has lost the happiness or the consciousness that comes from recognizing that all of our situations in life comes directly because of the spiritual power that has created this world. When we do Ishwar Upasana, there's a very nice mantra that acknowledges this in a beautiful way. Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jata Patirekaya Sadadaram Pritavim Jamutemam Kashmahe Devaya Havisha Vidhema. And this is a nice Upasana mantra that says we pray Kashmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. We offer total obeisance and honor to that Lord who has created this Hiranyagarbha, this beautiful world in which we live in. So let us continue. Third paragraph. The easiest way to tune into the powers of the Supreme Lord is therefore to chant his name. And this is the easiest way. This does not require any preparation, any ritual, any bath, any new clothes, etc. The chanting of his name can be done anywhere and everywhere. Our Ramayana, and this comes back again. Now we have to go back to the books, because we need to get our knowledge from the manual of life. So it's like somebody asks you, how do you know about this? Where is this information provided to you that the Lord's name is powerful? Then we must say that the chanting of the Lord's name is fully discussed and outlined in the Ramcharitmanas, in the Sri Ramayana. It is outlined in the Bhagavad Gita in very, very great detail. It is outlined in all of the Smritis that in this world that we are living in, immense power, immense success, immense good health, immense happiness can be obtained by chanting the name of the Supreme Lord. So we will go into a few mantras now. We have enough time to do that, to do some of the names of the Lord that you can use. But it's best to choose one name at a time, or one mantra at a time, or one guru's name at a time. So let us go. Now, the essence of love of yourself is the love of your name. And your name is the Lord's name. So whose name shall we place on our lips? And when we start identifying that I am truly a divine being, Tattvamasi, it doesn't matter what your name is, whether your name is John or James or Krishna or Ram or Simon, right? Your name identifies the spiritual energy who's a divine being that resides inside of you that the world knows you by. So if we go back again, is that we must love the name of God, because that is the sweetest name in this world. And beautiful stutis that says, Adharam Madharam Nayanam Madharam Pachitam Madharam. It means that everything about the Lord is beautiful. And so are you. When you start to know that you are Tattvamasi, I'm no longer what's called Ramlal, but I'm actually the divine energy that is equal to Sri Ram. And when we go down this way, then you automatically will judge yourself by divine traits. The way how I speak, is this divine? The way how I'm walking, is this divine? The way how I'm replying to someone, is this divine? The way how my thoughts are, is this, kind? Is it compassionate? Is it caring? And why this is important? Because as you think, you shall be. Think benevolently of someone else, and automatically the world will think benevolently of you. So in the Ramayana, there are some beautiful, quotes throughout the Ramayana on what we call the beauties of the name of Sri Ram. But we will not spend a lot of time on this one. But let us say if we were to go, it says the first line, the very first line, if we were to just master what we call, one moment. Yeah. If we were to just master a line, but what we call, we pray with the line and we offer, let's say, if you have a deepam in front of you, you have your deepam, you have some grains of rice, or you have some flowers, and let us just choose the very first line, and you're praying to Sri Ram, or you're praying to God. You can, you can change the name of Rama to Shiva, to Lakshmi, to all, whatever name you're comfortable with, to Guruji. You could change that name, but your thought must be that name has the ability to bless me with all form of goodness. So if we go to the first line, I've highlighted it in red, is Om Agnita Gunadhana Bhushita Rama. It means my Rama, who is a personification of all good. So because this is the quality we want from Bhagwan. Om Agnita Gunadhana Bhushita Rama Avani Kamini Kamiti Rama. So if we go to the second line, we say Sri Ram is what we call the darling of all of the citizens of Ayodhya. So in this context, because we're not talking about Ayodhya, what we are talking about, Sri Ram resides within you, is that by understanding that Sri Ram is loved by all, except, let us put it this way, the Dhobi in the village, or Karan, Dushanshan, or Ravan and his people. So we are saying that all good people would love you. Bad people would be bad. They don't like themselves, so don't expect them to like you too. But let us focus on what we are trying to achieve. And when thinking about Sri Rama, Om Avani Kamini Kamiti Rama. So we are saying, oh Lord, bless me today that I may have all of the qualities that make me endearing to the world. And if we were to go just to the last mantra, where Sri Ram is worshipped by the sage Bharadwaja, that meaning is phenomenal. But what we are saying is that each and every, if Sri Ram is worshipped by a Muni, this is phenomenal, because the Munis are the one who are deserving of love. Whether it's Vishwamitra Muni, Vashishta Muni, the Munis were actually had the same powers of Brahma Dev to actually create parallel universe. So they had the equivalent power of the creator. So when a Muni of such high stature, who has the power of Brahma Jnana and Brahma Karma, is worshipping Sri Ram, then we must know that that name, Sri Ram, can bring you immense happiness. So if you focus on the name of Sri Ram, but focus on what you call seeing yourself happy, let your mind create happy thoughts within your body, and then you'll be amazed at how using this name of Sri Ram can benefit you. One of the most famous verses of the Ramayana that we, all of us, should chant and should learn from some time to time is this beautiful Ramayana chanting, and I will chant it for you. But do chant with me, because it means install the luminous gem in the form of the divine name of Rama on the threshold of your tongue, at the doorway of your mouth, if you want to have light inside and light outside. There is so much phenomenal meaning in that. Can you imagine if we have the Rama at the doorway to our body, then sitting alongside Sri Rama is Mahamata Lakshmi. There is Lakshmanji, there is Hanumanji. So the concept here that your whole body is pervaded by divinity, because divinity by its very nature is what we call the term where it's present here, there, and everywhere. It's called omnipresent. So when you have Ram, when you have, one moment, one second, when you have Sri Ram being present on your tongue, it means he's present in your whole body. You will only walk to good place. You will only think to prosperous place. You will only use your hand in such a way to bring you good fortune, to make you happy in the job that you do, or to make you happy in whatever action you do, when you have just Rama, as Rama name as part of your day-to-day living. So let us chant this beautiful thing, this beautiful Doha with us. If you want reference, is Baal Khan, Doha 21. Chant with me some Om. 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 Rama Nama Mani Deepadharu Jihade Hari Dwara Tulsi Bhitar Baharu Jo Chahasi Ujiyara Siyavaju Ramachandra Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai. Devotees, here the correct translation of this doha, place the name of God, place the name of the Supreme Lord. And we are using Sri Rama's name because it is given by the Shastras, and this is, good authority, that this name is more powerful than any other name. And this has nothing to do with religion. If you were to have a discussion with someone, they're going to say, but that's a Hindu name. It's not a Hindu name. The name of Rama was present millenniums and millenniums before there was any concept of Hinduism in this world. The name of Rama came down from the time of creation when this world only had what we call one dharma. There was only one universal dharma. Christianity and Islam are probably less than 2,000 years old. So the name of Rama goes back from Puranic time, from ancient time. It has nothing to do with what we call any organized religion, but it's a chant that was given to us by the rishis to say, look, if you recite this name, irrespective of your race, your color, or your creed, all forms of happiness and good fortune shall come unto you. Devotees, in this world today, the greatest religious movements are now based on the name or chanting the name of the Lord. And it just happens that the largest section of Hare Krishna in Europe is in Ukraine and in Russia, the two nations that are at war with each other. But what I'm saying, this name is spreading very, very softly because the West has seen how much power this name has given them. And this is why we who are familiar with this name needs to now reclaim back or start to use this power in this name to enhance our greatness. And this name will make you great. But the worrying thing, Ravan used this name and he became a very great demon. Indrajit used this name and he became a great demon. All of the asuras used the name of Shiva, of Hari, of Narayan. And what happened? When they got this power, they then used it for anything but good. So this name it doesn't identify color or creed. It doesn't identify maybe what your intent is. What it identifies, if you recite this name, it shall make you powerful. So this name is available to all. So if you wish happiness in your life, just recite this name. And this name again places what we call good fortune and all forms of happiness on your tongue. Very often, even after immense prayers, we are still not able to feel the difference within ourselves from chanting of the name of the Lord. The reason for this lies in the layers and layers of animosity and anger. One second. And anger, I need to change that, that covers the purity of oneself. And this is where, as we start to chant this name, it's going to be difficult because unless we are starting from what we call a high spiritual level, then you will feel the happiness immediately. But if we are starting as a beginner on the road to bhakti, then we have to wipe off what we call the dust that covers the mirror of our soul. And devotees, sometimes when we start to chant, our thoughts will waver and they will go. So we have to, build into place with things that would help us in preventing our thoughts from wavering. So make sure, you don't have your smartphone pinging, you don't have a radio in the background, you do not have a television making noise. And it would be helpful if chanting is seen as a family event. So, the wife will not say, look, my husband is only praying while I'm doing all the hard work of, cleaning and cooking and vacuuming. Or, the wife can be the one chanting and the husband can say, well, look, I haven't got my lunch yet and my wife is praying and chanting. It must be a family thing where you do it together, because the family that chant together, that look for divinity together, will always live in peace and harmony together. And I know many of the families on the screen, they do pray together. I've seen that in my own life and dealing with them. And this is so important that if you sit down, both of you sit down, Om Ramachandraya Namaha, Om Ramachandraya Namaha, Om Ramachandraya Namaha, Om Ramachandraya Namaha, and you offer your flowers and your grain of rice to a bowl or a thali. If you offer it the rice, and you can cook with that rice. If you're only offering flowers, then you can, place the flowers in the garden afterwards, or you can keep it in a thali afterwards. But the important thing is, devotees, once you set out on this path, there's nothing to lose. Chanting the name of the Lord is a win-win situation. You can only benefit, have faith in your prayers. In chanting the name of the Lord will certainly bring peace, happiness, and clarity to your life once a layer of the dust has been removed from the mirror of your heart. The world will then see you shining as a truly divine being that you are. And there are two examples I can give you in this matter. When Sri Ram had now crossed into Lanka to start the war with Ravan, he was about to start this war when Jambavan, Chiranjeevi Jambavan, came to him and says, Sri Ram, we must not go to war right away, but we must make at least one attempt at peace. Very important. Sri Ram says, yes. He says, look, we must send someone to speak to Ravan and see if the mind can be changed. So, is that, before we go to war, before we start an argument, let us see if we can avoid the problem, leave it till tomorrow. But here in this case, then Sri Ram then asked, who is the best person to go and speak to Ravan? Then it was unanimously agreed that they will send the son of Bali, who was Angad. Angad was a very powerful warrior, but also a very good diplomat. So as the story goes, he goes to the wall of Lanka. It was protected by a wall, and he jumps over it. Now, when he jumps over it, because he was so big and strong and powerful, all of the Rakshasa became very fearful, because they mistook him for Hanumanji, who had just burnt down their city. So they said, my God, let's give him way. So he walks up to the door, and even the normally very brave doormen opened the door, because they did not want to have a confrontation with Hanumanji's now, but Angad. So he says, look, I want to speak to your king, your Maharaja. So as he went, he goes there. As soon as he goes into the door, every single one of Lankeshwar ministers rise up. They stood on their feet and they look at him and they bowed. Now Ravan was very annoyed at this. He said, look, sit down. You're only supposed to stand up when I come into this room. But because Sri Ram was residing in the heart of Angadji, they recognize his power and their divinity. So they stand up in what we call bhakti or devotion at this wonderful soul. The second instance was that Mahatma Gandhi visited the United Kingdom and was about to give a speech at the Houses of Parliament. So, of course, they had a lot of racial disrespect for Mahatma Gandhi, a short Indian, dark skin, didn't wear a tie or anything like that. So they were told, they would plan to sit down and not to show him any respect. But the moment he walked into the Houses of Parliament, everyone without exception stood up, welcomed, and greeted him. Devotees, they did not do that because of Mahatma Gandhi as a man or because of Angad as a man, but they did that because of the shining divinity of the divinity that shone through them, that gave the onlookers the power of awe and says, look, this person is deserving of honor. Now, what does that has got to do with you? It has everything to do with you, that each and every one of you is fully capable of living our life in such a way with the closeness of the name of the Lord on our lips that we can get greatness in this life. You can get recognition in this life, and you can get worshipful in this life. Have faith. Do not stop your chanting the name of the Lord. I said, under no circumstances should you chant the name of the Lord. And these are just, some of the names, as you said, when we are chanting, that is just do one name at a time, not many of the names. So the first name of Rama is Rama himself. Om Shri Ramaye Namaha. Consternation is in your life, unhappiness in your life, in that, unhappiness is mental. We can't get our thoughts away from fear and unhappiness. And when that comes, light your deepam, get your water, get some rice. Don't get a mala, whatever you do, because that distracts you from your chanting. Take the name of Sri Ram, some grains of rice in your hand, and you chant because you want that Lord. Jai Raghunandana, Jai Siya Ram. He Dukkha Bhanjana, Tumhi Pranam. Jai Raghunandana, Jai Sri Ram. So we say, Om Shri Ramaye Namaha, Om Shri Ramaye Namaha. And the focus is that, oh Lord, bless me with all forms of happiness, which means I do not have anything to worry about. I do not have financial problems. I do not have what we call family problems. I do not have medical problems. I do not have any forms of problems because you have been benevolent to me. Because when the Lord blesses you with happiness, you have all forms of happiness, relationship happiness, health happiness, family happiness, thought happiness. So this is the totality. The Lord does not shortchange you in his gifts. He does not hold back anything. So in blessing you with happiness, he will bless you in the 1,000 forms of happiness. Om Shri Ramaye Namaha. Om Shri Ramaye Namaha. And you offer, and you can say Swaha if you want, if you're doing Havan. Om Shri Ramaye Namaha. And remember, it's not chanting the mantra, but it's the focus of what you are chanting that will bring you the benefit. Om Shri Ramaye Namah. Happiness, 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 happiness. That's what the thinking in your mind, and feel that now your body is calming. Feel you're being blessed by Sri Ram. And then, one moment, let's go to the third, one second today, to the second mantra. Om Ramabhadraya Namaha. Om Ramabhadraya Namaha. Devotees, Bhadram or Bhadra means that which is auspicious, that which is good, that which brings a good omen, that which brings a good signal, that which brings a good thoughts. So in just chanting this mantra 100 times or more times, just this one mantra, Om Rama Bhadraya Namaha Swaha, Om Rama Bhadraya Namaha Swaha, and feel how auspicious you're becoming, how light in what there's no heaviness around you anymore. And this is beautiful mantras again, in getting the blessings of Sri Ram. And when you go down, there are many other names. There are thousands and thousands of names of Sri Ram, but we've only chosen the ones that you need in your life. Om, like we go to number 10. Om Om Jaitraya Namaha. Om Jaitraya Namaha. Om Jaitraya Namaha. Let us say if you're involved in some form of litigation, somebody's suing you for something, somebody wants vengeance, and they've employed the greatest lawyers in the world. Yeah. What do? You don't have the money to fight them. You can't afford the greatest lawyers or anything like that. So what do? The first thing you do, you think of the person who is suing you in a benevolent way. Lord, bless his heart, so he will see that everything in this world comes from him. And then you focus on what we call Jaya or Jaitraya, Traya Namaha. Oh Lord, who is triumphant? Lord, let me be successful in this problem that I'm having. Let no one suffer, but Lord, protect me from all forms of suffering. So you will offer again. But then the same benefit can just be having by praying Om Shri Ram Chandraya Namaha or Shri Ram Aye Namaha. Oh Lord, with all these problems that I'm having, bless all with happiness, not only me, but bless my opponent, bless the person who doesn't like me. Lord, bless them with happiness too. So all will be happy and you will be amazed what will happen. The last thing you can do sometime is go and employ a lawyer and says, not going to make him win this time. I'm going to sue him for the last penny he has, and I'm going to bankrupt him and make him unhappy. No, that should never be the thoughts in your mind, because that is not Rama-like. With Rama's name, what will happen? Tumro mantra bibhishan mana, Lankeshwara bhai sab jag jana. With the blessings of just chanting Rama's name, all achievements are possible, devotees. Let us just go down a little bit. And to say that chanting the name of Sri Ram is extremely, extremely benevolent. Chanting the name of Sri Ram brings immense power, devotees. So let us say you want to choose again the name of Bhagwan Shiva, you choose Shivaya Namaha. And then look at all of the qualities of Shiva. He is benevolent. He protects his devotees. He brings success to his devotees. He is the easiest to please. If you ask him for anything, he will give you. Look, Ravan played the game and Ravan almost got everything, but because of his greed, he lost everything. So if you want to do that, Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Parvati Patiye Namaha, Swaha, 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 Om Parvati Patiye Namaha. So coming back again, devotees, it's then focus of your reciting the name of Parvati Patiye Namah, who's Bhagwan Shankar. Or we can say, Om Bhavani Shankaraye Namaha. So as we offer the rice and we are reciting this mantra 100 times, 1,000 times, the focus in our mind is to get what we call the smile of Bhavani Ma, to get what we call the dedication of Bhavani Ma, to get her ability to protect our lineage, our family, our assets, our everything, to get her to protect all of that because she is Shiva and Shakti. So, it's like the simplest prayers become the most effective prayers, devotees. And whether we choose the name of Mata Saraswati, let us say, if you want your child to be successful in all forms of academic pursuits, you want them to be, A stars in A levels, you want them to get an honors, or when they go to university, you want them to, graduate with a PhD right at the top. You want them to get a good job, to be financially successful. You want them that when they marry and they settle down in life, they must have good husband and good wives. They must not have any divorces and any settlement. All of that comes from prayers with an intention. So it's like it's coming back again. You have to pray with the focus. Om Bhavani Shankaraye Namaha. Om Mata Saraswatiye Namaha. Mata Saraswatiye Namaha. Mata Saraswatiye Namaha. Mata Saraswatiye Namaha. Devotees, we have experimented and we have gone through a lot in terms of what we need to do to get back prayer in our life. Because if we really understood the power of prayer, we would be praying more often. We would be meditating more often. You would have wealth being showered in you as from Mata Lakshmi more often. You would have what we call being bathed by the divine water, by Gajendras. You will have the auspiciousness of a lotus flower symbolized by Mata Lakshmi. You would not only be receiving wealth, but you would become great charitable givers in terms of the distribution of your wealth, devotees. So we were saying we conclude this session of prayers today. It was all about the power of prayers, the power of prayer for strength and power, that your prayer, your purpose may be thwarted or it may be accomplished, depending to one degree or another on your willingness to use the weapons of spiritual power and warfare that the Supreme has provided in the scriptures. The divinity is powerful enough to win any battle, but he has designed things so that the release of his power at a given moment of time is contingent upon the decisions and the actions of the people of the city, the country, and the world. The principal tool of abundant spiritual energy is prayer. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. So devotees, is at what stage in our life are we going to start to go back to prayer? And this is so much, prayer is not puja. We must never confuse that. Prayer is not bhajan. Prayer is not anything like that, but prayer is what we call a deep desire of spiritual energy to be used to change this world in which we live in. And all of us should have this intention and then use Rama's name, Shiva's name, Sri Krishna's name, Mata Lakshmi's name, or just use the name of God, or just don't use any name, but use your own name. That to say, your name is John. Says today, I will change this world for the good of all. So you're not calling on any name of God, but you're calling on your own greatness, because you know deep down inside of you, I shall change this world. But at the back of the mind, you really mean, oh Lord, bless me with the power, whatever I'm calling you, so I can achieve greatness. Boliye Jagadambe Mata ki jai.